Hi everybody, this is Jake, your resident content cowboy here. Yeehaw! And today I'm bringing you a video. This is all pre-release, but a lot of this should still work once the game is out. For Pokemon Unite, I want to go over held items and do they call them battle items? Held items and battle items. We're going to go through each one. I'm going to give you a basic overview, and I'm going to talk to you about which items I think are going to be must-haves for certain characters, and also which item I believe is going to be the absolute probably #1 item for most Pokemon. There's one item that I think is probably the best. I could be wrong. We'll see what happens when the game releases, but boy, one of these items is just so good. So first, I'll talk about what are held items and battle items inside the game once you reach trainer level 10, which will happen pretty quickly. Probably, I mean, if you're playing a lot that first day, you'll reach that level. You're able to equip 3 items, kind of how Pokemon hold items in the game. You put leftovers on your Snorlax. Something very similar happens in Unite. They don't all have the exact same effects necessarily as the game, but they're pretty close. It's a really cool nod to Pokemon having held items inside the game. I'm surprised there are no berries, honestly. I recognize how difficult that might be, but I'm kind of surprised there are no berries, maybe with sort of more powerful effects, but it only triggers once. Ooh, they got to add berries to this game. Okay. Let me take you over to unitedb.com, where we are going to go over all the items. I'll also put a link to it in the description of this video so you can take a look at it. They're a great site. Okay, here we are, and you can see all of the held items and battle items here. I'll start with battle items. The reason being, you will only get to pick one battle item. They're more basic, and a lot of them are similar to a lot of MOBAs people have played before. If you've never played a MOBA, there's going to be a lot you're learning with Pokemon Unite, and I plan on making a ton of videos about it here on my channel, and I'm also going to be giving some recommendations of some other creators that I think are pretty good. Let's take a look here. First of all, the eject button battle item. This is commonly referred to as Flash or something like that from League of Legends. It's a short-range teleport. You can usually go through obstacles, and it's just a way to get out of a very bad situation. This is an extremely popular choice in most MOBAs. It's one of the best. You can use it to get close to an enemy. You can use it to get away from an enemy. It has a 55-second cooldown, which feels pretty short, but also something to think about with Pokemon Unite. These matches are 10 minutes long. They're so short in the MOBA world, where you might be playing League of Legends for 40+ minutes, or you might be playing Smite for the same length, unless you're playing one of the smaller match modes. So a 55-second cooldown is a little high, but it's also probably one of the most useful battle items. There's Fluffy Tail. Fluffy Tail is basically the item you would pick for your jungle Pokemon. If you are not familiar with the term, I will be making some jungling videos on this channel. Basically, there are, in the main map for Pokemon Unite, there will be multiple maps, but in the main game mode, there are 2 lanes, a top and a bottom lane, and a middle jungle area. You usually send one Pokemon into the jungle area, and that Pokemon moves between top and bottom lane, trying to gank or, you know, attack one of the enemies that might have overextended themselves. This is an item you might put on your jungler because it will help you incapacitate the wild Pokemon faster. I said kill in another video, and someone put kill the Pokemon, Jake? So a Fluffy Tail is probably a good item for a jungler. We also don't know if this is going to be extremely popular for late game when you have to go up against a Zapdos or something. It might be actually even more popular as a late game choice. Again, you only get to pick one of these heading into a match. Full Heal removes all hindrances and become immune to all hindrances for a short time. So in a game like Smite, Smite is another MOBA that's a third-person style MOBA. And in Smite, there's a character called Ares. And Ares' ultimate attack chains everyone around him, and he pulls him wherever Ares is going. And it's a great way to set up big team fights. You'll find that a lot of matches in MOBAs come down to who can win the big team fights later in the game. And in Pokemon Unite, that again, with a 10-minute match time, it's going to happen pretty fast that these team fights are going to be important. If there is an enemy Pokemon, or if there is a Unite move, which is their version of an ultimate move, if there's a Unite move that really destroys your team in a CC way, this is going to become a popular item. So it's all going to depend on what your opponent's team has. If you don't know what they have, I probably wouldn't be picking full heal. Probably. Unless some strategy just becomes so prevalent that everyone has to hold a full heal to get away from it. Goal boost, I have no idea if this is going to be good or relevant. This item just feels like it could be fine, or it could be massively overpowered. It's going to be one of the two, I think. It reduces the time it takes to score goals. I don't know if you combine this with a held item we'll talk about later, if it just feels kind of silly and no one can stop you from scoring goals. I don't know. This is a tough one for me because that is the victory condition in this, scoring goals. But I feel like this item is probably going to be nerfed and buffed and nerfed and buffed. It's either going to be not useful or way too useful. We'll see. Potions, the first one you get, it's basic. It restores some of your Pokemon's HP. It's good right when you get it, and then you're going to throw it away for something more useful. You don't literally throw it away, but smoke screen. Create a ring of smoke around your Pokemon, slowing enemies. This is going to be good for the jungling, ganking type Pokemon, the one that jumps into the battle and you just don't want that person to be able to leave. You're going to pop your smoke screen. You're going to make sure they can't get away from you, and you're going to secure the exhaust. Boy, I got to come up with the right word for it. Knockout. X attack is another good one for a ganking type Pokemon or someone who's going to be playing the jungle. Raises your Pokemon attack and special attack. I could also see you putting this on, a Ninetales or a Cinderace or something like that. Maybe a Bruiser. Maybe you'd throw this on a Lucario or something. But in general, I feel like you're going to see this on ganking type Pokemon. It's going to be up in the air. Is it more important to increase your Pokemon's attack, or is it more important to have eject button so that you can get in there and chase someone down more easily? Xspeed raises your Pokemon's movement speed for a short time. We shall see how useful this is. Again, it's just going to come down to, is it more useful to have eject or Xspeed, depending on what you're doing? Because in some ways, they're kind of similar. I feel like eject is going to be the much, much more popular choice, probably the most popular battle item. Again, barring that goal boost or Fluffy Tail for the end of game legendary encounters isn't more useful or broken, but I think a lot of people are going to be running eject button. And once you see it, you'll understand why. Especially with a slower Pokemon that doesn't have an escape move like Alolan Ninetales, you'll want some way to get out of battle. And that's with an eject button. And other Pokemon, you'll want some way to get even further into battle when someone's trying to run away from you. Okay, so those are the battle items. Again, you get one of those heading into the match, and I think the most popular ones are going to be eject button, possibly smoke screen for gankers, and then we shall see whether full heal becomes popular in the meta or not. The others are all totally possible. X attack for, again, people maybe like a Cinderace, perhaps an Alolan Ninetales or something like that. But eject button, I think, is going to be the most popular battle item. It's kind of the most popular item in most games. Okay, let's head over to held items. Again, one of these held items is, in my opinion, so much better than the others and probably going to be on at least 3 of the characters inside of a match. But let's go through some of them and talk about them. And we'll talk about who they could be good for as well. The AoS Cookie. It gives you 240 HP, and whenever you score a goal, your maximum HP is raised for the rest of the match. These items, there are a few that stack like this. They're going to be really interesting. There's AoS Cookie. There is Attack Weight. It is, which is the other one? Not Focus Band. There was one other, right? Yeah, Special Attack Specs. So those 3 are all things that give you increases based upon scoring goals. And they don't say how many points you need to score a goal with. These are going to be high risk, high reward items. The tough thing about these items, if you're solo queuing, you might not have a ton of great opportunities to score if your team isn't playing very well. I personally think for new players, these are not the best items to choose. because there are things that just give you more consistent stacks where even if you're behind, you're still getting something. For more expert players, I assume these are going to be chosen more often to their maybe less enticing counterparts. The thing is, if you could score 5 goals with this, well, you just got yourself 1,000 HP. That's huge. Or if you could score yourself 5 goals with this, you got yourself an additional 60 attack. That's huge. But if you don't score any goals, you didn't get anything except for the native bonus to them, 240 HP. I think AoS Cookie will be good, of course, on your sturdier units, your all-rounders and your defenders, possibly also your supports, just so you have enough life to stay around. You're not going to want to waste a slot. Oftentimes, metas in every game are different, but you're often not going to want to waste a slot on your Absol or your Pikachu with an item like this. In MOBAs, this is one of the most important things. You lean into your strengths. So you don't try to take a defender and make them the carry on the team. You don't try to take an attacker and make that the support unit on your team unless that specific unit has a kit for it. But basically what I'm saying is if you're good at doing a lot of damage with your basic attacks, you want to beef that up to the highest amount of attack you can put out. If you're a tanky unit, you mostly want to focus on continuing to be tanky and helping your team survive. You don't want to be the Snorlax with the most kills. It's cool, and we've all done it when you're playing MOBAs. When you're a defender, you know, you're playing a tank role and you just think, wow, I dominated that match somehow. I got so overfed, and all of a sudden, the one with the most kills in the match is a Ramus or something. But in general, you're doing your job right as a support or defender if you're carry, if the person playing Cinderace is crushing it and you're making sure they stay alive and are protected. So AoS Cookie, I think, is going to be maybe a better choice that more expert players will pick. But I'm a little worried with the 10-minute time length of a match and the fact that someone could really zone you out pretty well, and maybe your lane's not doing so well and you get ganked a couple times early, and now all of a sudden your AoS Cookie is not that beneficial. That long spiel will also cover some of the other ones. I'll go over those ones more briefly when we get to them. The Assault Vest is kind of the AoS Cookie, but more consistent. So you get more HP, you get special defense, and you get a shield outside of combat. When you're outside of combat for a little bit, that's 15% of your HP. This item is so good. It's going to be really good for a lot of all-rounders, and it's going to be really good for a lot of defenders. So, and maybe even support, because those are all roles where your number one job isn't necessarily doing damage. It might be for one of the all-rounders, but because an all-rounder is really beefy compared to the speedsters or attackers, you probably want to beef that Pokemon up a little bit. This is going to be, I assume, a no-brainer for a lot of defender-type Pokemon. Snorlax, Slowbro, people like that, Blastoise when it comes out. I think the Assault Vest is going to be a great pick. Attack weight. Again, this is similar to the AoS Cookie. So when you score a goal, your attack is raised for the rest of the match, 12 attack each time. If you are crushing it and scoring a ton of goals, you're just going to become a runaway, like crazy, intense, overpowered Pokemon in the game, especially given that level differences, just like in the RPG, matter, and in all MOBAs, really. If I'm a level 11 Cinderace and you're a level 9 Greninja, you have no shot at all, especially if I've been scoring with the attack weight. So, again, I don't think this is great for newer players, but once you get the hang of the game, you might switch into items like AoS Cookie and attack weight. All right, let's talk about the Buddy Barrier. I think the Buddy Barrier is the best held item in the game. Again, metas always change, so I could be totally wrong here. This is just too good. It's too good because matches are decided by team fights. They are often decided by what happens in a big team fight, especially the big team fight that's going to culminate around the Zapdos, or the one that's going to happen down at, was it Dreadmaw or Dreadnought? I can't remember all the names. There are 8,000 Pokemon at this point. I started playing with Red and Blue. So This gives not only 600 HP, just in general, it grants a shield to the user and a nearby ally Pokemon with the lowest HP when you use your Unite move. This is unbelievably good. It's so good. It breaks my brain a little bit how useful this is. You can change a team fight. Unite moves already can change team fights. Now you're getting a 40% HP barrier, and you're giving it to your weakest person. Maybe your Greninja or your Cinderace was about to get destroyed, and now all of a sudden they have a 40% HP shield. This is too... I could be wrong here. This is too good. This is too good. I don't know what to say about it except every single... I could see an entire team running these because you will just be able to use each one throughout the course of a team fight, and at different points, everyone will get buoyed by a shield. You'll save Pokemon from being killed. A 5v5 where 5 Pokemon are going up against 5 Pokemon. All things being equal, all Unite moves being there, the more buddy barriers will probably win that encounter. Probably. Now imagine this. You're in a 5v5, and your Alolan Ninetales, who is going to do a ton of damage, gets killed. It's 5v4. You're in a lot of trouble in that situation. The buddy barriers, however, could keep someone alive. Now, take that back. Alolan Ninetales didn't get killed because of this buddy barrier, and one of their Pokemon drops. Right? It switches the entire momentum of a team fight right there. I think it's probably the best item in the game by far. I just think it's too good. I can't wait for the game. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but even playing the beta, just seeing this item, I think this item is too good. It's too good. Energy Amplifier. This is another one that's going to be extremely good, especially for your Pokemon who are your big-time damage dealers. After using your Unite move, a Pokemon holding this item will deal more damage from all their moves for a short time. So this starts the team fight with your big Unite move, and then you are just doing more damage as you go. Your heavy damage dealers are probably going to take an Energy Amplifier. Plus, it gives cooldown reduction, and this game has no mana. So in some MOBAs, you have your cooldown of your abilities, and you also have a mana gauge. Not every character, but a lot of them. In this, there's no mana. It's just cooldowns, and the matches are short. So being able to use your abilities more often is going to be huge. You're going to see an item like this on... just a lot of people who need to deal damage, but Pikachu's, Alolan Ninetales, you could see this on... You could see it on Cinderace, you could see this on Cramorant, you could see this on really anyone who's using a lot of their abilities to their advantage. You could see this on tons of people. People who need to deal damage and start a team fight off right, and all-rounders as well. XP share is interesting. It gives you HP and speed, which are both great, and then it gives you bonus experience every second while you're the lowest level Pokemon on your team. You have to be very careful when using an item like this, and it's going to be very tough to use in solo queue because you could be just doing really well in your lane, and top lane, like let's say you're in bottom lane, you're an Eldegoss in bottom lane, and you're helping keep your person alive. Top lane's having problems, they get ganked, they get knocked out, and then all of a sudden you've cleaned up a few more creeps, and you're not the lowest leveled Pokemon on your team anymore. That's the only tough thing about experience share, is without a really structured team setup, I could imagine a situation where you're not getting the benefit from it anymore. I would love to run this on a support Pokemon or defender Pokemon. I just worry that, especially in solo queue, and especially with such a short amount of time in the match, you could easily reach or surpass one of your other teammates' levels, not even on purpose, and then all of a sudden you can't use it anymore. This is going to be very situational, but it could be very good for your supports and your defenders. Again, your Eldegoss, Mr. Mime, Snorlax, people like that. Floatstone. I need to take a sip of water. Do I edit it out? I doubt it. A Floatstone increases a Pokemon's movement speed out of combat. It also gives you attack and just general movement speed. This is going to be big for jungling characters. Absol, Garchomp, Lucario, Talonflame, Zeraora, people like that are going to take huge advantage of this. This is how you get from top and bottom lane a lot quicker. I think Floatstone is going to be really useful for those Pokemon. Really useful. And it's a consistent amount of attack. It's plus 24 attack. Whereas with attack weight, you have to score for that attack to be higher. Focus Band. Gives you special defense, and you recover health for a short time when receiving damage that reduces the Pokemon to low HP. So I feel like you could stack this on Lucario, by the way, who already kind of has this ability as his passive. He gains a shield at low health. A few Pokemon are going to take advantage of this in some really annoying ways. Probably Lucario, Machamp, maybe Garchomp because he's got Life Steal with his attack. So there are a few Pokemon that you could throw a Focus Band on and it'll be really fun. In general, you don't need to put a Focus Band on your Pikachu or your Venusaur. It's unlikely you will need these. However, I mean, to each his own. I really do feel like people will find a lot of cool strategies inside this game, but I think from a min-maxing perspective, you're probably not going to put this on anyone but a few of the all-rounders, I would think. Leftovers, maybe Cinderace. Or maybe Greninja, because Greninja gets in there with melee sometimes. I don't know. Leftovers. I think this is the first item you get. I can't remember, but I believe this is the first item they give you. You get HP. You get HP recovery. You recover health over time while you're out of combat. This is good, but something I'll talk about in a future video. It doesn't cost you that much time to go back to base and heal fully. This is just good early, but the matches are so short. I think this item's going to be dropped pretty fast. I think it's... Look, right when you get it, put it on. I wouldn't spend a ton of money upgrading it, which is something we're going to have to talk more about. As soon as I know the cost of upgrading items, we can talk more about what you should upgrade, when you should stop. There are going to be people paying a lot of real-world money to upgrade their stuff, but I don't know if I can condone that. We'll see. Usually in a MOBA, you'll be able to, as long as they didn't design it in a pretty gross way, and I don't think this company would do that, you'll usually be able to play enough to get the money to upgrade your things to a relatively good level. As you can see on a lot of these, they have different levels of bonuses. So 1% out of combat, 1.5%, 2% based on its upgrade level. We'll get more into that once the game comes out. The Muscle Band. Attack plus 15, attack speed plus 7.5%, deal additional damage with basic attacks. There are a few people that really rely on their basic attacks. Cinderace is a great example. You could even put this on someone, you know, an attacker as well. I could see this on a Alolan Ninetales. I could see it on Pikachu. People who spend a lot of time hitting with their basic attacks are going to take huge advantage from Muscle Band. And they deal additional damage, 3% of missing HP. So the more you're hitting them, the more it's hitting for. This is going to be how you close out Pokemon, get in there and get a quick kill, for sure. Rocky Helmet. After absorbing enough damage, deal a % damage to nearby opponents. You're going to put this on your tanks. You're going to see this on Snorlax. You might see this on your supports as well. You also could see this on some of your all-rounders. You know, I could see it on a Garchomp, a Charizard. I have to see how the absorbing damage and dealing out works. There are some mechanics of it where I could feel like, oh, this is going to be very, very good. And other times where I go, okay. But I think what's going to happen is you're going to put this on your tanks. You're going to probably combo it with Assault Vest so you have this shield. And you're going to use it to help deal damage to some of your nearby opponents without even trying to. Because your whole job, you know, let's say you're a Snorlax. Your main job as a Snorlax, if I'm looking at my camera here, if this is Snorlax right here, and this is your little Pikachu right here, you're just blocking everybody, making sure nobody gets that Pikachu so it can keep shooting lightning bolts this way. Boy, it's hard to do this when you're looking at your camera. But you get the idea. Your job as a defender is to be in front of those Pokemon. So I could see Rocky Helmet being a great choice for defenders, some all-rounders, and maybe support as well. Scope Lens. Critical hit chance goes up. Critical hit damage goes up. crits in games are always either a little too powerful or not very relevant at all. I think specifically for a few Pokemon, Absol specifically needs a scope lens. Not needs, but I mean, Absol's based around crits. So if you don't put a scope lens on Absol, I think they come to your home and arrest you. I'm not positive. I'll have to check the official Twitter, but I'm almost sure they said that you get arrested if you don't put a scope lens on Absol. So a few other Pokemon you could put this on. Let's see. Cinderace, I feel like is a great attack damage Pokemon. I could see this on a Cinderace. I could kind of see it on a few of the, speedsters possibly. I could see it on someone maybe like Talonflame, Zeraora, even though, they use their special attack, but as well. I could see it on Garchomp. Garchomp is just a great auto attacker, so I could see Garchomp rock this. It could go on a few different people, but Absol especially would use a scope lens. Score Shield. This is one of those items, along with Goal Boost, like I was talking about earlier. I don't know where this is going to land. I don't know if Score Shield is going to be super overpowered or if it's not going to be that relevant. So it gives you HP and speed, which is cool, and it shields you when you attempt to score. So if you're trying to score and your opponent's hitting you, it stops you from scoring. It stops your scoring animation. And the more... What do you call those things? Those little golden Pokeball? They're like AoS energy or something. I think the energy amplifier talks about it. Energy gather rate. I think it's AoS energy. The more AoS energy you have, the longer it takes you to deposit them, basically. So if you've got one, you're just kind of like, whoop, boom, scored. But if you've got 40 or 50, you're standing there like, ooh, score. And in that time, you get hit by anything and it cancels it out. I can't tell if this is going to be awesome, especially when paired with Goal Boost. You're going to be able to steal the game right at the end, or if this is going to be somewhat irrelevant because you're going to try to score not when someone's right next to you, but when you have kind of pushed the lane back or you have knocked out one of their Pokemon. So I can't tell how valuable this will be. I think there will be some cheesy builds with this. This might be the Zerg Rush of Pokemon Unite. We'll see. Shell Bell. Shell Bell is really cool. It raises special attack, so you're going to see this on, Venusaur, Cramorant, Pikachu, Alolan Ninetales possibly, people like that. And not only does it increase cooldown reduction, it gives you special attack, but you recover HP when you successfully land a move. It's pretty huge. It keeps you alive in lane. You don't need something like leftovers. You just need to hit with someone's attack. Someone like Pikachu, who has a guaranteed hit attack, I mean, it feels like a no-brainer on someone like that for me. I really like this item, and I think it's going to be very, very good. I mean, also, you're hitting with this in a fight. They're surprised they can't kill you. This might even work on some other people who have really low cooldowns on some of their more physical abilities, because it just says successfully lands a move, so I guess it could be any ability, huh? We'll have to see. That could be really good. Special attack specs. Again, this is similar to the attack weight in AoS Cookie. It's good. It gives you special attack, and it gives you special attack when you score a goal. It's all to be seen whether this play is just too inconsistent or if this is the only way to go. Because, again, if you score 5 times with this, you've got an additional 80 attack? Is that right? 80 special attack on top of the 24 it already gives you. Depending on how often you're scoring and how well you're playing your lane, these could just make you crazy overpowered. They also could just not have enough going on with them compared to some other items. We will see. Wise Glasses, again, for instance, this is the other option. I guess you could take both. But Wise Glasses just gives you a base 39 special attack, so it gives you more special attack, and it further increases your special attack damage. Me personally, when I start, especially since I plan on solo queuing a lot, and I plan on making a lot of videos around solo queuing, I think I would rather take something like Wise Glasses, or I'd rather take an Assault Vest as opposed to an AoS Cookie. Or what is the difference? The other attack one would be what, a Muscle Band? Yeah, a Muscle Band probably. I think I would rather take those because it's so tough. If your lane is crushing it and you're able to just deposit a bunch of little scores, you become super powerful. But if you aren't, and you're on the back foot a lot of the game, and you've got players who aren't really playing their roles very well, I like to try to figure out how to win, even if my team is poor. I want to be the best team player possible, and I worry that if I just stack myself with these items that stack every time you score, then matches I'm doing well, I'm going to destroy, and matches that I'm doing poorly, I'm going to continue doing poorly all the way to the end, and there could have been some better options to help my team. I know that was a lot of talking, but I hope that helps with some of these items. Again, I kind of told you which ones are pretty good for the defender types, the support types, the attacker types. I'll make specific videos for specific Pokemon as the game comes out. And I'll continue to talk a lot about solo queuing, which just means you're playing by yourself and you're not, paired up with 4 friends. So you can't control what they're doing. You'll solo queue, you'll think you're a jungler, someone else is in your jungle doing their thing, and you'll have to adjust pretty quickly. And because of that, I think there are going to be some item choices that are just better than others. If you take nothing else from this video, just my bet is Buddy Barrier is going to be the most important held item in the game. At least 3 Pokemon on the team have got to have this. Maybe only 2, but I feel like 3 Pokemon on the team need a Buddy Barrier. It's going to completely change team fights. Let me know what you think in the comments. I hope you found this interesting. If you have any questions, let me know. We'll know a lot more once the game comes out. Again, this is just from the stats on UniteDB.com as well as my experience with the beta. All right. I love you all. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I will see you next time. Mwah.